Services Committee. Congressman, good to have you with us. The Secretary of State sounds like a secretary who is keenly aware that the United States is now in a Cold War with the People's Republic of China. Your thoughts?
Lou, this speech that Secretary Pompeo gave at the Nixon Library, ironically, is the best and most important speech that Secretary Pompeo has given as Secretary of State. And it tells you everything you need to know about this administration. You have to go back to 2017 when President Trump first became president. His national security team came together. They published a national security strategy that named a great power competition with China and said we need to pivot away from the wars in the Middle East and focus on great power competition with China. Now, fast forward to the Pompeo speech yesterday, calling for the rest of the free world to join the United States of America in that cause, because now, if we don't do something about this now, the time has run out to ever do something about it, this new Cold War addressing the China threat.
Let's look at what this administration is doing. The president has ordered two aircraft carrier groups into the South China Sea. This president is doing exactly what he should. One of the problems is we don't know what's happening in the South China Sea. We're getting very little information from the Department of Defense. Mark Esper is acting as if he is running a covert operation instead of putting two carriers in potentially harm's way. The American people need to know what the hell is going on and what those carriers and their task forces are up to.
I agree with you, Lou, and I'm grateful again for Secretary Pompeo being the adult in the room, advising this president, the president bringing along a team that's led by Secretary Pompeo to do that. Shutting down the consulate in Houston was a big step. They need to shut it down fully. We know the FBI has said that every 10 hours they open up a new case, a counterintelligence case against the Chinese for their theft and intellectual property theft in the United States of America. One every 10 hours. We need better leadership from Secretary Esper to step up to the plate with Secretary Pompeo and the FBI director as well.
Yeah. I'd love to hear from Christopher Wray how many damn cases are being closed every 10 hours. This is preposterous that they've had time to indulge in Operation Crossfire, Hurricane Razor. I mean, all of this spying. They detached I don't know how many agents at the Justice Department, while we have existential threats from China and from Russia, potentially. What in the world has this country been doing? It's just stunning to me what we have put up with from those two, the Department of Justice and the FBI. I want to turn to Mark Esper, that, as you point out, here is a man who has had a number of very public conflicts with this president. John Hyten, the vice chair, the general who called this president, I'm not even going to repeat what he said, but it was a word that if I were president, he would be fired and whatever else I could do. It's outrageous what is happening in that Department of Defense. Esper needs to go, don't you think?
Well, I believe Secretary Esper has done a huge disservice to the president, and not just to the president, Lou, but to the men and women who put on the uniform by not supporting the commander-in-chief who hired him in the first place. I support the president who he decides to surround himself with, and in this case, I'm as disappointed as you are that Secretary Esper has not respected the man who gave him the opportunity of a lifetime to serve not just him as president, but to serve this country in one of the most important positions in this administration.
And he's had a public conflict with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the vice chair, calling him, using a word that I just can't believe. I'm just not going to repeat it and carry that water. But this is pretty disgusting, what we're seeing from the uppermost ranks of the Joint Chiefs and from the Secretary. I mean, there's something in the water over there, and they need to get their heads on straight. And I think the only way you do that is give them a very long time to contemplate it as civilians. What do you think?
Well, there's no doubt about it that the president has paid attention to these types of activities from Secretary Esper and others. I respect this president. He's the best leader in my lifetime.
Do you think we ought to fire them? Do you think we ought to fire them?
I think Lou, that's up to the president. I'm not going to tell the president what to do when it comes to that.
Of course it is.
He knows.
I'm not
what's
telling him what to do. I'm telling you what. I want to find out what you would do.
If I had someone who said the things the Secretary
I'll rephrase it this way.
he wouldn't serve in my administration.
We got there. Thanks. Mine either. And your administration before mine, I assure you. Congressman Jim Banks, thanks so much. We appreciate it.